All right, Mrigesh, thank you so much for seeing me. Can you talk to me about your company, Huku AI, and the pain point or the opportunity that you originally saw to create it, please?
Sure. Hi, Henry. It's great to be here. I'm Mrigesh. I'm founder of Huku AI. And one of the products that we have launched is CueVoice. CueVoice is a uh, voice AI workspace. It has dictation, meeting, notes. Uh, so everything that you do around your voice can be done uh, with CueVoice, sort of like a granola plus whisper flow, but privacy in mind.
You recently wrote your keyboard doesn't need Wi-Fi, your voice shouldn't either. Why is the entire voice to text market built cloud first, and why does local first matter so much?
Yeah, so why I think the local first matters because we are talking about replacing something that is attached to your system. Something is native, something that feels something that should work always. So when we are talking about cloud first solution, uh, sometimes they work uh, really well, but there are times where they don't work. And at the same time, there are some overhead and complexity that is attached to them, especially around the privacy. So just think this, that everything that you are typing is going to a cloud. And now, uh, now, now, I mean, everything is somewhere in the database. It might leak, it might not leak, but it's not secure, it's not safe. So that's why I thought that everything can be done on the device. It's as good as voice a cloud first solution. In fact, in some cases, it's much better since the latency is low, and the models are getting better and better. So if you compare uh, a cloud first versus a local first solution, for dictation and for meeting, um, it is working as good as them. So I don't see any, I mean, it's time, it should be uh, local first and cloud by choice.
A lot of people like historically have balked at like voice first, right? Because they're like, oh, you just type it and make it organized. Except now AI sort of solves this problem because
Correct.
now. So can you just talk to us more about how this potentially enables this whole new medium and just explain it from? Yeah, please explain it.
Yeah. So, I mean, Karpathy also talked about it, and in one of his tweets, mentioned when he was mentioning vibe coding, he talked about this that AI is incredible at understanding language, right? So when you are sitting and writing something, sometimes like writing is I mean, you can use it as a meditation and you can write really good structural thoughts. But sometimes when you start talking, and in fact start rambling, you don't. It doesn't have to be structured. AI can pick patterns from it, and it can understand, and AI can organize your thoughts in a much better way. It's like whatever you are saying, it will just get it, and especially if it has a bit of context about you. So this way, when you're talking or interacting with your computer, the prompting and everything becomes really, really fast, at least 10x fast. And there are some real substantial productivity gain. Um, I mean, I did a napkin calculation, but at least I think the amount of uh, work I do or the amount of thing I needed to type earlier, it at least saves me a day in a week, at least, which is huge for me.
So you talked about how typing forces people to edit and optimize their thoughts before they have them, while speaking lets you discover ideas as you talk. How has building Cube Voice changed how you personally brainstorm?
Yeah. So now when I start thinking, it's like sometimes. So earlier I used to have like PRD and everything, and you start from that. Every thing is crystal clear, and then you start building. But now it has changed. You just open any good model like Fable or anything. This is how I work. I just start talking my thoughts. I start speaking. I start also saying without any structure that, okay, these are the problems I think it will have. And just a ramble. It's just a uh, uh, back and forth talk with any model. And once you do that, and since you are not typing, you are just talking about it, AI sometimes gives you start giving clarity. And what tends to happen after a 10-minute session or a 15-minute session, you get crystal clear about your idea. And then you can ask AI to just write a PRT. You don't have to just sit and think everything. It's much better than when you are jamming with AI like that.
When someone is dictating or using voice, what is the latency threshold where it stops feeling like a thought partner and starts feeling like a slow transcription tool?
Yeah. So if you have used some of the transcription tools, now all the coding tools also have uh, voice to text, right? Because it's a new interface. But if you're using it, it always happen that either they are wrong. Sometimes it's not as good as a dedicated voice to text tool, or uh, you have to wait 3 or 4 seconds before they, you know, uh, before they type, and then your mind goes to, then you start checking, okay, whether they have transcribed it better, or whether they have changed some words, whether the meaning is exactly same or not. It becomes hassle. So the latency to me is maximum 500 milliseconds. And this is what I get with CueVoice. It's like instant. You can, if you are using some correction, the 500 millisecond will be the latency maximum, and which is almost imperceptible to us, and that's how it should work.
What changed in on-device compute and small models that makes local first voice viable today?
Okay, so especially for Mac, they had done a lot of optimization. Then you have models like Nemotron uh, or Parakeet by NVIDIA. They are really, really good. Uh, uh, so all or both of them combined, you see, I mean, tremendous accuracy as well as lower latency.
What do you think that like AI will unlock because you don't have to organize your thoughts and stuff like that. A person can just speak to the AI. Like, what do you think that will like enable? Because I know, um, maybe like the world had been skewed in favor of someone who like was better at organizing by bullet points. I mean, what do you think, just on a personal opinion?
No, so yeah, I'm actually a big fan of secondary, and I have tried all the solutions so far. So when you are organizing for a week or two, you you know you can be very uh, uh, organized, and but this type of habit never, you know after a week or two you will lose energy. But with AI, if it is effortless, it can understand, it can organize everything. The big thing, a big unlock is connecting two pieces. So I mean, last week there was this anthropic guy who tried to better the Riemann hypothesis problem. So AI is really good at connecting two pieces of knowledge. And actually, why it did better? Because it read one paper and another paper and connected two and tried both of these solutions together and somehow improved it. So these type of thinking, that new knowledge will be discovered by us, but there are a lot of gaps people have not connected through, and AI can find those patterns. Like, for example, if I'm talking about certain thing, or I'm trying to solve a problem in a particular way, and then I forget about it. My second brain should say, hey, you have already tried this way. Why don't you approach the same? And I see same type of pattern here as well. Why don't you approach it in the same way? So, so this type of augmentation uh, will unlock, you know, huge productivity.
You've argued that the next big leap in AI isn't just bigger models, but better UX for humans working alongside them. Why is a
Correct.
standard text chat window such a clumsy interface for a complex world?
So, and so this thing that AI, so chat still is input and output. And earlier I used to think, okay, chat will go away, but then I realized chat is also a very good interface, but at the same time, it needs to evolve, and it is evolving. Um, um, I do see like generative interfaces. Still, if I am bounded by prompts and rules, and if I'm not able to explain to AI with all the modalities, uh, then AI is still limited in its capacity. To unlock a new type of working system, we have, for example, voice is a huge unlock, memory is a huge unlock, text, the chat box is a huge unlock. Now generative interfaces. So all of these will be combined. And I mean, the Douglas Engelbart in 1962, he showed mother of all demos. He actually talked about this, how the augmentation part where AI will be your partner and working with you will be a huge unlock. And so, so I think like the models are really good already. They are, I mean, they are smarter than you. So I think the new UX, how you are talking to them, for example, second brain or the memory system, will unlock a next level of productivity where I don't have to go and click the button. An agent is understanding my thought patterns and working and improving me each day.
So, how do you view like voice local with agents in the future, do you think? How will that develop, do you think?
Yeah, I see an interface where, one but you press a button, your chief of a staff listening to you, and then it is dividing work between different agents. For example, if I'm running a company, I have to think about the marketing, I have to think about any bugs that is coming, the user request, and I see my chief of staff talking to all these agents through voice and gathering context, sometimes proactively. I mean, it can be proactive as well, and just surfaces whatever needs my attention. And doesn't have you don't have to sit on the uh, you don't have to be in front of computer. It could be on your phone or notification, but some like suite of agents that is working in cloud for you most of the time, and you will be interacting via voice, sometimes with text, but mostly via voice, and they will just get you. To me, it looks like very near future. This will happen.
After a decade of building software products, what is the number one rule you follow when deciding when features, like what features to kill versus what to build?
That's tricky one. So, so with AI, if you had asked me 3 years, 4 years ago, I would have said, let's talk to users and just build exactly what they are saying. Just be ruthless about killing and prioritization. But in AI, there's also a room where users sometimes they don't know what they want, or they don't know the possibility of AI. So you have to have this very smart balance. Just don't build anything. Build something that is useful, get the feedback, but at the same time keep your creativity hats on, because there are a lot of uncharted area that people have not yet you know, realized. And if you unlock one of them, I mean, that will be a huge advantage. So, I mean, you have to have the balance of creativity as well, plus user prioritization. Because now building is easy. It's not as tough as it was earlier.
You've predicted that in 1 to 2 years, software will be completely bespoke and built through dialogue. Can you just talk to
Yeah.
me about your thoughts about that, please?
Yeah, I'm a huge proponent of again personal software. So there are two philosophies that I think and I want to see in, especially in software, is file over apps, which is Obsidian Capano philosophy, that whatever you are creating, you should own that knowledge. And then personalized software is lot of there are a lot of software that you use where you have to give up your uh, account information or unnecessary information. For example, if I want to do intermittent fasting, then I will download intermittent fasting app. It's just basically a timer or anything. Why AI can't build it? Why do I have to give my health information to a third party app just track my intermittent fasting thing, right? So this type of personal apps uh, can be built with AI in no effort. Uh, and there are actually platforms that are coming like that, especially Wabi. I was talking with one of the Wabi founders, and uh, their vision is like that. Like many people will have suite of 20, 30 apps. Sometimes you use it, sometimes it's daily, but if you see your phone, there are tons of apps that you don't use, right? And those all of these apps can be your personal apps, and AI can build it in no time.
How do you think about like open source models right now? Because all the people I talk to, all the entrepreneurs that are developers, they're like, I don't even use the frontier models. 95% of them. They don't use the frontier models. They don't use Anthropic. They don't use OpenAI. They don't use Gemini. Why do you think that is? Why do you think so many people have gone to the open source ones? They said it's like um, virtually the same
Cheaper?
performance. Yeah. But I mean, like, how do you
Yeah,
think
I
that
mean,
will continue to change over time? What do you think?
no, open source models have a lot of potential, especially I see a lot of value in the enterprise settings, to be honest. That if you are using an open source model, you can actually train it and you can train it on your data and you can make it better. Uh, in this way, it doesn't just feel like an API cost. It's like your CFO can say, hey, we have trained our a model with our own data as well. Uh, Personally, I just use Claude and OpenAI models. I'm deep into Codex and Cloud Code. Uh, but I've talked to a lot of entrepreneurs as well now with Kimi and uh, Quen. It is almost and GLM. It's almost as good as Claude with fraction of cost. So so that's why probably they are using it. And but at the same time, I see a huge potential. Like open source will, and and it's a threat to be honest, the big AI labs. It's a big threat.
Do you think one of the reasons that there's not more on-device AI right now is because hardware hasn't been optimized for it yet?
Yeah, yeah, for sure. I mean, uh, they are using open source, but they are hosting it somewhere, and still they are consuming it through API. It's not that they are using on-device. On-device AI for LLMs are not as good. I mean, voice model are fine, but just the LLM part, they are not as good. And I mean, obviously, it will improve. LLMs will become more efficient, and we will get better hardware as well. So, and I actually on my Mac Mini I use LM Studio and those type of software where I'm running uh, open source model, but but it's not as smart as Cloud Code, or it's not even a contest right now. And so for open source, I see a future is still that it will be hosted somewhere, not on your on-device machine. It will still take some time to reach there.
Like we talked about how like you can talk to AI and it can organize everything out of a lot of noise. When do you think people will start to have like we talked about this the first time we talked, like a device that clips and just the whole day everything is recorded and then it could like create all sorts of insights and that could eventually be possible, right? I mean, like they have
It,
some kind of
it,
on yeah.
yeah, it is even now it is possible if all the thoughts is going to cloud AI, and if you're okay with that, it will work perfectly because all we are doing is like active microphone. That's all it is doing. Like none of the device is actually doing the processing locally. Uh, Even if they claim they are not doing that, the processing is not local. Uh, it's just a battery with a Wi-Fi and a Bluetooth, and they are sending all the data to cloud for the extra processing. Transcription can happen locally, but even some of the devices for a better transcription, they just record the audio and later do the transcription uh, in cloud. So so the devices are they're always on the time. I'm a little skeptical about them, uh, and I don't know uh, what value you can get there. If yeah, if they are completely private and if they are not selling my data, then probably I'll be ready to try. But like hardware, like I'm okay with probably uh, the glasses, not the meta glasses, because then again I am aware about the privacy implications and how they can target me if they are following me always. So yeah,
Do you think that like why is it not more on device yet? Why is it not more like why isn't hardware being like built specifically to run it all on device? Like I would have
because
thought that
LLM,
like 4 years
yeah,
later that this would have happened. Don't you think? What are your thoughts on that?
yeah, this will happen. I mean, LLM takes some energy uh, to run it, and but it will get more efficient, and so voice transcription part is solved. It can run. It doesn't need that much of energy, but LLM, the computation part, uh, I mean, it is native, it can run, but the whole day, that's why you need extra power battery. You don't want to impact your phone. But what I see is with Apple and new devices, uh, the on-device LLM will get better and better. So I think this will happen sooner than later. I mean, this will be just an ambient app, uh, and you can put your phone in that mode, and it can listen to you and understand what you're going through and everything.
Do you think that eventually, I mean, this is a weird question, but do you think that eventually like OpenAI and well, like where it is today is like basically good enough and that you don't have that people won't have to be spending so much money just to talk to their AI? You know what I'm saying? Like as time goes on, obviously they get better, but like where they won't be spending all this money on like
Improving the
API
LLMs?
calls and stuff. Yeah, because you're sort of subsidizing improving them, is what I meant. Yeah. So you could get like a model that's like good enough and then just pay
Yeah,
like virtually no money. What do you think?
that's the future of open source, I believe. That's the future of open source. OpenAI and big AI labs, they are betting on something else. They are betting that they are create a super intelligence, and for them, like the intelligence will always scale. And that's why they have. already invested so much in the infrastructure. So they are not betting on this. They are betting that they will create a super intelligence, and it will be even, we will be subservient to that intelligence, sort of.
But I just think it's interesting because like a lot of their users are, they need people to eventually pay, but then no one's going
Yeah,
to pay for that kind of development. So it's just kind of interesting to think about in a way. But who
I
knows?
think at the end, everything comes to energy cost. So as we go along, as we progress with ramp in AI, more nuclear, or like everything is related, tied up to how much energy you are spending per token. If it is efficient, then everything is smooth. If it is
That's what
not,
I'm
then yeah.
That's what I mean, because like eventually, certain AI will get so good that you don't even need anywhere close to those models, as they get exponentially better or whatever. And so then you could just do it for a fraction, like a penny or something. So
Yeah.
just kind of surprising is you don't need all that, right? Like the super intelligence, like you said. So, um, I'm interested on your thoughts on like on local AI on device. How do you think that's gonna like change? Because like I can see that changing for the sake of privacy. You know what I mean? I can see like a real
Yes.
market as we've seen in the last couple of years. There's like a real demand for privacy, and unlike social media, people are willing to pay for it. So what do you think about that? Like I could see like a voice AI physical product that people actually use, and then it connects with your computer, but it all have to be like one suite, just like Apple. The Apple ecosystem. It'd have to be like an AI privacy ecosystem, sort of. What are your
Correct.
thoughts on
I
that?
mean, yeah, I mean, this is how I see as well. I mean, um, it there will be a memory component to it, there'll be voice component to it, and then it should be able to connect to other AI agents. Then it should be able to create routines. So, like to me, the personal AGI angle, it looks like it will be, and it should be controlled by you, kind of like CueVoice. I mean, in CueVoice also I have put memory system, but it is local and you control it, and it's just a markdown file and that you control it. Uh, the personal AI should go like that. Like everyone will have its memory. AI understands you. AI understand what project you are working on, what people you are talking to, what are the things that going on in your mind, and what are the preferences and how a particular work you want it to be done in a certain way. All of this memory will be local first, will be in your devices, uh, and this whole system can talk to different agents. So every time agent needs some information about you, it will talk to your memory. Voice, since voice is very easy to capture, you can just talk to it, and it will. And the more and more you talk to the system, the better and better it gets. Uh, so, for example, in CueVoice, I have this dreaming routine where each night my AI agent think about what what are the things that are open, and what are the things I want in a particular way and how they can improve. And next day when I wake up, they write down and then start executing it. So uh, so yeah, and this type of system is needed, and it's in fact uh, I think Twitter released bot. They are also going through, I mean, I see their product is also following the similar kind of pattern. And I think in 2027, everyone will have their personal agents capturing their memory and everything.
I mean, how would that change the world? Because as context windows grow, I mean, it would be so crazy. I mean, literally, like you would just go around and it would know every single thing about you. It would be able to know your every thought you have in your head. It would be able to watch you on camera using AI. Like it's crazy. Like it would know everything and it would map it out. I mean, that's the craziest thing of all time. And it's totally possible. It's not fake.
Yeah,
This isn't
it's
like some
totally
like
possible. Yeah, it's
theoretical
not
why this isn't some
correct.
fake conspiracy theory. This is
And
like in 5 years
that's
this is
why
going to go down.
Yes. Even if you're at forefront, you can create all the system. It's not, I mean, they can capture each and every moment about you. It can be so personalized that it will even if you, I mean, just go to your chat GPT or whatever AI system you work and you just prompt them that, okay, tell me a secret about me that I don't know. And the answer will shock you because they have learned so much about you. So that's why I said all these systems should be in your control, and this data should not go out. Otherwise, I mean, you can left and center, you can be targeted easily, and you can be enticed with offers and marketing and whatnot if it knows each and every moment about you.
You actively pay for and switch between Cloud Code and OpenAI Codex.
Yeah.
What is your exact mental model for which tool gets which task?
So Fable is really good at architecture. Um, Talking to Fable, when I used Fable first, it really sounded smart. I thought, okay, this is um, something groundbreaking. Like then I used Codex, but the issue was that my Fable quota got over. So I again spent, and everyone on the Twitter was talking about how Codex has gotten better. So I thought, why not? I will give it a try. So I gave a try, and Codex is a really good, well-made product, especially with its computer use. It understands what you're working on, taking screenshots, and again, a long-running agent session. The goal part that, okay, if I have asked to do certain things, if it doesn't get it right in the first try, it just keeps going on, and it gets right. So as a product, Codex is really, really well made. So, so now that's why I mean I wrote about it that and now I'm stuck with two subscription. Fable is because it's intelligent, and for some task I do need an intelligent guy beside me. But Codex is a really good worker. So if I come up with a plan, I will go back to Codex and I ask them to execute it.
Why do so many voice and writing tools feel like they exist just to charge you a $20 monthly subscription for basic features that should come with your laptop for free?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I mean, people are not aware about it. See, voice-based tool, what it unlocked is a new paradigm in UX. Um, we, I mean, Apple have had this dictation feature for a long, long time, but nobody used it because it was not accurate and they didn't get you. But because of the LLM, it can just get you. Uh, and cloud-based tool uh, came up with a really good UX, and that's why it started getting popular and popular. But and they started talking about how they can replace the keyboard. But as again, when you are talking about replacing something that is attached to your system, it should be native. And and in the recent month, again, the model quality has improved. Uh, at the same time, latency has also improved. So it's the local model is as good in terms of accuracy and in terms of latency is much faster than a cloud model for this use case, for voice to text use case. So so I don't see why you should pay for $15, $20 subscription. Uh, to me, if something is if you are spending a token, then company should charge about it. If something happens on your laptop, I don't think you should be charging user for that. And I mean that's what I how I designed pricing for CueVoice as well. That you only pay when AI processing is happening and you are using AI. If something is happening on your laptop or on device model, I never charge for that.
Can you tell someone who like they want to know more about your company, how it's different from all the other like
Yeah,
applications right now. Can you just explain
yeah,
them different?
correct. So, so you right now there are two different companies. There's a dictation tool, and then there is a meeting tool. Both, and now if you see, both are moving towards trying to be in dictation and meeting in one tool. Uh, I had seen it before, so from the ground up, like in CueVoice, you have dictation, you have meeting, you have notes with a really good UI UX. But the flip part is it's built privacy first and cloud option, or local first, cloud optional. So in one click, it can be completely private. The meeting thing can be completely private. The dictation can be completely private. But if you need LLM accuracy, or uh, sometimes you need a better quality of transcription, then you can just switch on cloud as well. So it has both the option. And the good thing about, again, this insight that uh, models are good enough, it's because I'm not using cloud always, it becomes really cheap for users to use. For example, you don't have to pay $15. You can just like uh, recharge credits, and you can use it for 3 months, 4 months, and just spend like $5 or $10. Especially, it gets really cheap for users. So the benefit is for users. There's a privacy angle. There's a better accuracy angle as well.
Let's talk more about how you're doing this differently from other people because there's so many of these. This is probably one of the most popular applications for someone to make. You've gone the route of giving people more power over their data and their privacy, right? So can you
Correct.
talk about how you're doing that and that's different from basically everybody else in the industry so people can
Yeah.
understand?
So I don't have a backend. I mean, a simple backend is there, where for user authentication and tracking of credits and all. But whatever you are creating, your meeting notes, everything is marked down. Everything is agent first. Everything you own. I don't own anything. So, so for example, some popular meeting tool will lock you if you don't go to their pro plan. It's your data, it's your meeting data, but they will just lock you. Uh, which to me felt like, I mean, uh, wrong thing to do. Again, I drew my inspiration from Kipano, file over app philosophy, when he created Obsidian, that you own your data, and and it's a really well-made software. And this is what I wanted to emulate for voice as well, because voice. So if you're taking meeting notes, it's your data. Your agent or you can access it. I don't. I even I have no way to access that. Um, so we never train on your data. We never learn from you. There's no. Uh, it's much more secure because it's on your device.
Can you talk more about the on device, how rare that is for this note taking industry, how rare it is, and
Yeah, I mean, yeah. So a lot of, again, a lot of big startups, um, when you're raising that much of money, and when you're talking about the user, the thing about is not just product, then also your data becomes, you know, uh, is becomes moat for them, or maybe a way to monetize. Uh, uh, and especially in AI, I mean, people are trying to capture more and more data. Some smart companies now are understanding it, that everything that they are discussing in their team is going somewhere just because they needed a better uh, capture tool. But now this resides in somewhere server, and AI can learn from it. That hey, financial companies are trying to have this strategy, uh, or a particular company or particular sector, and AI is learning from them. So that should not happen. What you are creating, especially in AI era, it should be, oh, the knowledge should belong to you.
so I feel like you should emphasize this more because I don't think people understand. A lot of these companies have to take venture money and then they're forced to sort of. So,
Yeah,
can you just explain? So, because people are
yeah,
going to look at you talking, right? And they're
correct,
going to
correct.
say, oh, he's just like everybody else. So, I just want to make it very clear how you're different from them and how you're
Yeah,
more
so
privacy focused and how you're not forced to be by the people who are
yeah,
funding it.
so if
Yeah.
you're not, I mean, the typical processes like you raise funds and then you have to show certain growth, and then for that you need to sometimes create this lock-ins for user to retention, and then you have to typical growth structure that you have to follow. Um, and because of these limitation, external limitation, um, even if you don't want, you got to create these type. You have to lock in the data so that user has to give you money and have to have the subscription going on. Uh, you need to also show to your investor, hey, we have lots of data, we can train the models, we can give this data to AI companies so that they can train models, and that could be additional source of revenue, which again, in my opinion, is wrong. So the way I am building is again, nothing, there's no backend at all. It's so your data, it's everything, sit with you. And how I can do it is now, so I mean, again, small team can do it. There are examples. Uh, for example, Basecamp is a great example. It's small team, they don't sell your data, or a company like MyMind. So, or a company like Obsidian. I mean, there are examples where small teams can crack this without selling, without hampering the product, without selling user privacy, uh, without, if you are not attached to that typical growth metric, because you are not bounded by Series A, Series B, and Series C type of growth curve, uh, then you can do it.
Here's the difference is that you also have the option to run 100% locally, whereas they do not.
Correct.
I don't
Correct.
think almost any. How
They
many
do
people
not.
can do that in this industry right now
Um,
that you know of, just off the top of your head?
I have only seen two, three products. I mean, they
Exactly.
are, yeah,
So it's basically nobody. So
nobody.
people should know that. And then also, can you just explain how you're different with respect to privacy? Just I know we already talked about that a little bit, but just a little more in depth. As we talked about, a lot of people who are venture backed, they're forced to,
Yeah,
harvest data or lock your data in there once they get you addicted to the application, like you talked about.
correct.
You'll use
Correct.
it, and then all that important information they'll put it behind a paywall unless you have a subscription. And then yeah, can you just explain that?
Yeah, so because I'm on device first, uh, I and so to me, cost is nothing. I don't have to, you know, give you a subsidy and then even if it is costing me more. So voice to text, most of the processing is happening on your device. There's no cost to me. All I have to do is create a really good software for you. Uh, the data belongs to you. I am not promising again. If any AI processing is required, you can do it. You can just buy tokens and do it. Again, I don't have to have, because our team is small, we will remain small. We built our structure such that no data will be stored on our server. So this way we will be more secure as well. Uh, we will never employ or we will never create those, I will say, trapped loops where you have to keep paying me money and money. I mean, if you don't like my software, stop using it. And you, but at the same time, you will have your own data. You will have everything. My bet is that I will create a really good software experience for you, so that you will feel value. Uh, which other people, the VC backed, or I would say like bigger companies, they can't do it. They have to show that growth, otherwise the company will suffer.
So also, you get Canva, for instance, right? Like I have Canva. And then to basically do anything, I have to pay for the pro feature.
Correct.
So can you just talk about how you're different from that? You're very straightforward and you're very, yeah.
Yeah. So uh, how I am designing, and I mean, it's improving as well. I'm also talking to, but the idea is this: everything you should be able to use, right? Everything from the get-go you should be able to use. There is a credit feature that you can use like a credit, but some things can be in a pro where it takes uh, to me like a lot of time to have those features. But as a basic product, it should just work. It should just work. It should give you a lot of value to you, and just because it is basic doesn't mean that I will lock you from your data. You should be just using it. For example, my basic package is like unlimited dictation. If you are using on device, you are just which is $15 subscription, you can just replace it. Or uh, if you just pay the pro, I mean, and if you're uh, uh, even in the basic package, 25 meetings are included. So like $15 for dictation and $15 for meeting notes, $30 uh, per month value can be done in like $9 or $10. So this way I can be extremely cheap, and cheap as in not in terms of experience. I will give you a really good software experience, but benefit will be given to users.
And then you own the difference is also that it's 100% locally and offline on your Mac by default,
Yeah, by
right?
default.
By
Yeah,
default. So that's not like a
by
special
default.
feature that you have to check in like some obscure part of the interface. And then you own the files directly on your computer without being locked into a proprietary database. So it's just
And
very important to emphasize that.
and and one more point: when you own your own data, so now the agents, so for example, if you're using Claude or using Codex, you can just ask, hey, look at my CueVoice meetings and tell me what are the things open, or can you create a presentation on top of it? Or, because you can access data from other system, which is, I mean, not by default for other apps. I some in pro subscription they will give you MCP access, but it will not be as open. They will try to lock in the data. Uh, Whereas the way I have designed it is just markdown files on your system. Your Claude agent or Codex agent can just access it and understand more context about you.
And then so for I just have two more questions. Um, Obviously now the world's becoming more privacy centric. Why do you think that is? Because like I hate to talk so long, but I have to preface it appropriately. We look at Facebook, and I always talk about this, and we look at the trial and how, oh, Facebook's harming children, blah, 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 with their Instagram, except there is paid social media, except nobody wants to pay for it. Like there's
Correct.
social media that doesn't manipulate you and doesn't do damage to you, but nobody wants it. So then they all, you know what I mean? So how do you think that and I just look at that and it's very interesting because I think about how privacy is sort of like that now. Privacy is sort of you're damaging my privacy, you're damaging my privacy. Maybe in the future that'll be a thing. Um, how do you think about how are people eventually, as we've seen with VPNs, now they're starting to be willing to pay for their privacy where they
Correct.
weren't for social media. So can you talk about how do you think that AI is going to like hypercharge this? Because with
They,
AI, you have everything available. It's crazy. I mean, like I just saw like people are destroying the Flock license plate readers. I don't know if
correct.
you've heard of it, but
Yeah,
it's
yeah,
kind of this
yeah.
crazy thing. They like know where people's license plates are and you can like track them sort of like when they're leaving, when they're going, and people are going crazy over that. But like as we talked about last time, AI is 1,000 times bigger than that. There's no
Correct.
comparison because it knows everything, and yet nobody seems upset about it right now. And so, just what are your thoughts on that? Do you think that eventually, like people are there's going to be like an like LLM, unlike OpenAI, but a privacy focused one that's totally encrypted throughout the entire thing, and people are just going to pay more for that? Or How do you think about that? Because it's so crazy. The whole, it's so, yeah. So,
Yeah, the two things like monetization and that angle can, I mean, that depends on a lot of factors, how people, how useful it is. And I mean, people do understand the value of privacy, still they don't pay it because they are used to not paying about the social media apps, right? But AI is going to hypercharge it for sure, right? Earlier with Facebook and everything, like the most smart people there, they were hiring and they were writing algorithms. But now they don't have to, right? It's the smartest guy that they have this sort of intelligence they have created in cloud, and they can just focus on one particular person learning everything about you, or sometimes ping you and get more information out of you. So this guy, so it becomes incredibly important that I'm not being manipulated. I mean, this they have the power. The AI, if they want, they can manipulate you, easily manipulate you. So it becomes incredibly important, and even the big AI labs have to think about it, how they are handling the privacy and because it's very easy that okay, now we have all the memory about a user. How about you tie up with, uh, you know, with uh, marketing and then start selling a particular product to them, or and maybe sneakily add these product to their prompt or their chat results, and it's very easy for them, but it has huge implications. It's not just cookies. It's like cookie 10.0 that knows everything about you and then can just hyper personalized any result for you. The uh, uh, for enterprises, for sure, they will go for the privacy open source model that I see. There's a lot of value. For example, a company like McKinsey or a company like or a private firm, they don't want to give this data to big AI labs. Uh, Everything depends on their strategy and their, but at the same time, they want their employee to be productive. So I'm pretty sure that companies like McKinsey or that they will be using like open source, uh, privately hosted, secure kind of LLM systems. Uh, But for a general public, whether they will pay for privacy centric, that I don't know.
and then just so for the last question, Mrigesh, can you talk as long as you want about Q voice? And I know we already did this a little bit, but like just anything that you know about it that's unique that someone who is a potential customer might want to know, potential user might want to understand, and just anything that you can think of that would be helpful to them.
Yeah. So CueVoice is is a voice OS. Basically, it has dictation, it has your notes, it has meeting, and then I'm adding a chief of staff feature where it can learn from memory, but everything will be private, everything will be owned by you. Nothing goes to any backend where it can exploit you. It is the UX is really sleek and it is very fast, which matters a lot for dictation. The latency, I have worked a lot on the latency and the accuracy part. Uh, at the same time, again, uh, from the UX perspective, uh, the meeting, the seamlessness of meeting, dictation, and not having, five different apps just for the single thing. You can just have one thing. It can take care of like most of this stuff. And the way I am seeing is that right now my day is almost talking to Codex or Cloud Code or different agents, and I just use QVoice. It just routes my work to all these agents, and it saves a lot of time because it's voice first. So um, so all I can say is like CueVoice, the way I want to build is a really ethical software which gives a lot of value to user, a lot of benefit in the productivity, but at the same time, it will be less costly and much fun to use.